Now let's go into more detail for every phase. So first, vial replication. I show you how 2 vial tokens can come. Yeah, that's every turn. So at the beginning, they just go next to the lymph nodes. But what happens later? You will see. So let's say I'm gonna start bringing tokens, so just so you see how they are placed. So there is no one there. So now there is already one there. So now he doesn't go next to the lymph nodes. Now he will go next to any other virus that is already there, and you can choose. For instance, it can be in any of these 3 spots. Let's say that I want this one. When you draw 2 vial tokens and they both have the same color, a disease card is activated. So in this case, we would lose one of our white cell dice. This is bad, but the cards are face up, so you are gonna be able to sometimes prevent the cards from causing too much damage. So let's say that, okay, in this case I need to place this one. So let's say this one has to be next to the previously placed one. Let's say I place it there, and if you have many choices, you can choose. But now what happens with this one? So he has to be next to anything that was there before, but in the spot with the lowest number of neighbors. What does it mean? So he could be here because he only has one neighbor, this one, or here only one neighbor. But here he has 2 neighbors. You see, this one and this one. Here he has one neighbor. Here he has 2 neighbors. So let's say I place it here. Let's do it again. So for instance, this yellow, he could be placed here because he only has 1, or he could be placed here, but he couldn't be placed here because he has 2, or here he has 2. So he always goes next to the one with the lowest number of neighbors. And this is how vial replication works every turn. Let's talk a little bit more in detail about the energy allocation. So this is a very important step because, as I said, you make the actions more powerful. But it's also a very good place to communicate with others what you want. So imagine that you wanted to do transcription and you wanted to be more powerful. Now, you can, for instance, take the energy token from here. Yeah? But imagine that the next player wanted to do this as well. So this would be bad for them. Perhaps it's better to leave that one there and, for instance, take it from this one. So you can discuss with your fellow players which is the best course of action. Now, there can only be 3 energy tokens on each tile. That's the limit. And if an energy token doesn't have any, if a tile doesn't have any energy tokens, it cannot be performed. So remember, if a tile has 2 energy tokens, it will be performed twice when you choose it. So that's why they become more powerful. If at any point you want to see what the actions do, you can see the player A. But they also have icons and they are explained here on the tile. So let's continue with all the other actions. So these first 3 are very simple. With this one, you simply get DNA cubes. This one, you exchange 2 red cubes for 1 green cube. This one, you discard 2 green cubes and you take 1 blue cube, which are very important. Now, innate immunity. So here you discard 1 green cube that you had, and now you take a card. Now the card can be either face down or face up. So these cards are like abilities that you are gonna hold for the rest of the game. So it's good to choose wisely. This is how you get them, but how with this style you use them. So for every energy token that is there, you can use 1 card. If, for instance, you had 2 tokens there, then you could use 2 cards. Now comes the help. So in this action, you are going to be able to place cubes there or take 1 cube. So for instance, at the beginning of the game, the 2 cubes are there. So you could, for instance, take 1 of these cubes if you needed it, or you could, for instance, take 1 of the cubes from your reserve and place it there so the next player can take it. When you're playing solo, this is also important because sometimes you know that a disease card is gonna take all your blue cubes, for instance. So you could place them here as safekeeping. This is the T helper. Now let's go to the last 3 actions which are the most complicated ones. So first, adaptive immunity. This is how you win the game. You need to get these epitope tiles. You discard 3 blue cubes and you take 1 tile. Then what do you do? So let me show you how to place them. The first one has to go in the number 0. So you should try to choose one with many connections. You take the tile and you can rotate it. Let's say, for instance, like this. And once an epitope is placed, you cannot move it. However, at any point during the game, if you really need to, you can remove a previously placed tile. It's obviously very expensive, but it can be done. Now, later, when you do this action again, you're gonna and you pay the 3 blue cubes, you get another tile. Now you're gonna be able to place them. When you place them, they have to connect to something that was already there. So, for instance, you could do this. So you see this, the yellow and the yellow are connected. I'm gonna show how they connect to each other, so you see. For instance, this one could be here. Let's say, no, this one. So you see, this is correct because in all sides, this one has no connection, no connection, no connection, no connection, and here has connection, connection. Let's say I do this one, and finally, no. So this is correct. Look, all anchor positions are covered by tiles, and they are all connected to each other. You can have loops, doesn't matter. So this is the adaptive immunity option. Now let's go to the how the fights occur. So this has 2 steps. First, you can recruit white cells. So what you do is you discard 1 green cube and you can unlock one die. You start with 0. There are 5 available in the game, but you at the beginning you don't have anything. So let's say you pay 1 green cube, you get 1 die. So you take them from here and you place them here. Now they are unlocked. This is very important. These are the dice that allow you to move and to attack. But this happens on the other action, on activate white cell. When you perform this action, you can move and or attack with 1 white cell. So let me show you how that works. Imagine that you have unlocked 3 dice so far. Now let's do 4. So when you activate that, the white cell can move as many steps as dice have been unlocked. So for instance, there are 4, so this cell could do this. 1, 2, if it wants. So it can be 4 or less. Let's say that you wanted to go somewhere far. You could, for instance, travel to another lymph node that counts as 1 step. 1, 2, 3, for instance. So you can travel 4 or less, however you want. Let's say that you were here. You could do, for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you move the full 4 steps. So what do you want to move? You want to move so you can get on a better position. Why? Because when you attack all adjacent cells. So let's say here you have 3 adjacent barrel tokens. The white cell has 3 adjacent. So let's see how that works. You roll the dice and you count the number of hits. So you have here 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. Now, this virus has a viral defense of 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. That means that you can remove 1 of the adjacent ones. You remove it and you place it in your personal area. Why is this important? Because at any point during the game, if you discard 4 viral tokens, it gives you 2 options. Either it gives you a green cube, or it allows you to reorganize the energy tokens. Mind that you will say, oh, I want to move all at once. I want this one with 3, I want this one with 2, and that's it. Remember, there can only be 3 energy tokens on each tile, no more. So this is something that you can do with the vile tokens that you have gained. And that is the final action, activate what sells. So we have seen all actions. We have seen all 3 phases of the game: vile replication, energy allocation, and the immune actions. And now you will continue this turn after turn until either you are defeated or you win the game. At that moment you will be immune.